ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। So Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna dear devotees. So in our last session we read 17th verse from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, contents of the Gita summarized. So in the 17th verse we saw Avinashitu tad vidyena sarvamidam tatam vinasham avyayasya asya na kashit kartum arhati. So Lord Shri Krishna, he is describing Arjunji that know that which pervades the entire body is indestructible. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. So no one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. So avinashi na kashchit kartum arhati. So wonderful verse, and from we read and tried to understand many concepts from the purport of Swami Shrila Prabhupada, purport given by Swami Shrila Prabhupada. So the next verse, Lord Shri Krishna continues, the 18th verse, another beautiful verse, and Lord Shri Krishna, he continues speaking to Arjunji, and Lord Shri Krishna says, Antavant ime deha nityasya uktaha sharirinaha anashino aprameyasya tasmad yuddhasva bharata. Antavant ime deha nityasya ukta sharirinaha anashino aprameyasya tasmad yuddhasva bharata. So again Lord Shri Krishna is addressing Arjunji as Bharata. Antavant ime deha, antavanta, perishable, ime, all these, deha, material bodies, nityasya, eternal in existence, uktaha, it is so said, sharirinaha, the embodied souls, anasinaha, never to be destroyed, anashinaha, anashinaha, never to be destroyed, aprameyasya, immeasurable, tasmat, therefore, yuddhasva, fight, Bharat, O descendant of Bharat. So only the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable and eternal living entity is subject to destruction. Only the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable and eternal living entity is subject to destruction. Therefore fight, O descendant of Bharat. So wonderful verse. Antavanti me deha nityasya uktaha sharirinaha nashino aprameyasya tasmad yuddhasva bharata. So in the purport, Swami Shrila Prabhupada writes and explains, the material body is perishable by nature. It may perish immediately or it may do so after 100 years. It is a question of time only. There is no chance of maintaining it indefinitely. But the spirit soul is so minute that it cannot even be seen by an enemy, to say nothing of being killed. As mentioned in the previous verse, it is so small that no one can have an idea how to measure its dimension. So from both viewpoints, there is no cause of lamentation, because the living entity can neither be killed as he is, nor can the material body, which cannot be saved for any length of time, be permanently protected. The minute particle of the whole spirit acquires this material body according to his work, and therefore observance of religious principles should be utilized. In the Vedanta Sutra, the living entity is qualified as light because he is part and parcel of the Supreme Light. As sunlight maintains the entire universe, so the light of the soul maintains the material body. As soon as the spirit soul is out of the material body, the body begins to decompose. Therefore, it is the spirit soul which maintains this body. The body itself is unimportant. Arjuna was advised to fight and sacrifice the material body for the cause of religion. So Arjun ji, he is advised by Lord Shri Krishna and by Dharma to fight and sacrifice the material body for the cause of religion. So wonderful verse, Antavant ime deha nityasya uktaha. So it is said uktaha, it is said that the soul is permanent, nityasya, nityasya. So the soul is permanent and the body is non-permanent. The body will, Swami Shrila Prabhupada begins the purport. The material body is perishable by nature. It may perish immediately or it may do so after 100 years. So the soul cannot be killed. Wonderful. Anashino aprameyasya. Anashino aprameyasya. In the previous verse we saw Swami Shrila Prabhupada took many references from the Vedic scriptures, that the size of the soul is very, very minute. And Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing in the purport, so minute that it cannot even be seen by an enemy. What to say of killing it? Say nothing of being killed. So the soul is so minute, or the living being, the living force, the living person, actual living being, the part and parcel of the Supreme Being. The soul, the part and parcel of the super soul, the real being, the real spiritual being. Soul does not belong to this material world. It has already been discussed. It belongs to the spiritual world and it is spiritual in nature. So that spiritual being, in the previous verse we saw Swami Srila Prabhupada explained it as a spiritual spark, and it is explained in the Vedic literatures. Chit Kanaha is very, very minute, atomic in size, and it cannot be perceived by material senses. So how anyone who is having material body can even kill it? And because of its spiritual, constitutional, spiritual position, it cannot be killed. So the body cannot be saved. Swami Srila Prabhupada, he is writing, today or tomorrow it may perish. It will perish. It may perish immediately or it may do so after 100 years. The body is perishable by nature. Antavanti me deha. Antavanti me deha. The body is for sure today or tomorrow, or after 100 years or after some years. The body will die. The body will perish. But the soul cannot be killed. As mentioned in the previous verse, it is so small that no one can have an idea how to measure its dimension. We saw Keshagra Shatabhagasya Shatada Kalpitasya cha. So from both viewpoints there is no cause of lamentation, because the living entity can neither be killed as he is, nor can the material body, which cannot be saved for any length of time, be permanently protected. There is no chance of maintaining it indefinitely. So one cannot protect the body. One cannot protect the body permanently, and one cannot kill the soul. The soul is permanent, but the body is non-permanent. So for that reason, Arjunji here, he is advised by the protector of religion himself, by the Supreme Lord, and as per the scriptures also, as per the religion, and Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the religion, protector of Dharma, he himself is advising Arjunji to fight. Tasmat yuddhasva bharata. Lord Shri Krishna is advising, is instructing. Lord Shri Krishna is telling Arjunji that the body is perishable. Antavanti me deha. So do not lament for the body. Arjunji, who is so much concerned about the bodies, and Duryodhanji and his party, they deserve punishment. They deserve punishment from the state. And if the ruler or if the administrator does not do that, then they all will surely be punished by the laws of nature. And their punishment will be even more severe. If Arjunji, he does not do his duty, then he will get infamy. But for sure, those who are miscreants, they will be punished. They will be punished by the law of God, by the laws of nature. And in that case, the punishment will be even more severe. So that's why Arjunji here, he is advised to fight. Lord Shri Krishna is advising, because the living entity is indestructible. The actual living entity, Arjunji cannot actually kill Bhishma or Drona or anybody, because he cannot actually see them also. They are all spiritual beings. Everybody is a spiritual being. Every person is spiritual in nature. So only the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable and eternal living entity. The living entity is eternal. Nobody can kill the living entity. So the living being, the living entity is eternal, immeasurable, and as such cannot be killed. But the body is cannot be protected. The body cannot be protected permanently. So that's why Arjunji here, he is advised by Lord Shri Krishna to sacrifice. Swami Shrila Prabhupada writes, Arjuna was advised to fight and sacrifice the material body for the cause of religion. For the cause of religion. He is not fighting whimsically, or he is not fighting for any material benefit, as in case of Duryodhanji. Duryodhanji and their party, they are fighting for, actually they are irreligious, but still they are fighting. That means they are fighting for material benefit, to gain kingdom and victory. knowing very well that Pandavas, they deserve the kingdom, but still Duryodhana is fighting. So actually Duryodhana is fighting for the material cause. But Arjun is fighting for the religion. Arjun is on the side of religion. So here Arjun is advised by Lord Shri Krishna to fight and sacrifice the material body, either his own or of his enemies. Sacrifice the material body because the fight will happen. Nobody knows what will happen, who will die. Even the enemies, they are powerful. All Bhishma, Drona, and they are capable of killing all the Pandavas. And in war, what will happen, the result and outcome, nobody knows. So it is not certain that only Kauravas will die as of now. The war has not begun. So as of now, it is not certain that whether Kauravas will die or Pandavas will die. But because it is a religious fight, it is Arjunji's duty to fight. And that's why Lord Shri Krishna is saying, Anasino aprameyasya tasmad yuddhasva bharata. Lord Shri Krishna, he is only advising to fight. And what instruction he is giving, Antavanti me deha nityastoktaha. Nityasya uktaha. That is true for Arjunji and that is true for everyone. That is true for Bhishma, Drona, Duryodhana, and even for Arjuna and other Pandavas. So in one way, actually the Lord is telling the body itself is unimportant. Soul is more important than the body. The living being, and Swami Shrila Prabhupada writes, in the Vedanta Sutra, the living entity is qualified as light because he is part and parcel of the Supreme Light. As sunlight maintains the entire universe, so the light of the soul maintains this material body. So as soon as the spirit soul is out of the material body, the body begins to decompose. Therefore, it is the spirit soul which maintains this body. The body itself is unimportant. So in this verse, truly speaking, Lord Shri Krishna is emphasizing that the soul is more important than the body. The living being is more important than this covering. In the forthcoming verses, Lord Shri Krishna will explain this body is just like a dress which the actual living being changes after every life. So, very, very important for the cause of religion, Arjunji is advised to fight and sacrifice the material body, not for any other purpose. In the next verse, we'll see, not for any other purpose. Only for the cause of religion and the protector of religion, the Supreme Lord. Even the instructions in the Vedas and scriptures are the direct instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, Lord Vishnu. So as per the instructions and directions of the scriptures, Arjunji is expected to fight for the cause of religion, and even the protector of religion, Lord Shri Krishna himself, he is personally present on the chariot of Arjunji, and he is advising and he is instructing Arjunji to fight for the cause of religion and sacrifice this material body. Even Arjunji's body can get sacrificed in this war, but that is the duty of a Kshatriya. Yuddhecha palayanam. He should not, whenever there is a fight and for the cause of religion, he should be ready to die or even sacrifice his body for the protection of religion. So here Lord Shri Krishna, he is actually advising, Swami Srila Prabhupada writes wonderfully, Arjuna was advised to fight and sacrifice the material body for the cause of religion. Arjun ji is here, Lord Shri Krishna is not saying that you kill, but of course he is saying you fight. And the body is not important, and you cannot actually kill anybody. Arjun ji is lamenting because he do not want to. Nahantum ikshami. Arjun ji said earlier, I don't want to kill. So for that reason, Lord Shri Krishna is advising Arjun ji that you cannot actually kill. And the very next verse is in continuation. So Lord Shri Krishna will reveal further one who thinks that he is the slayer. So we will take up the next verse also. So the 19th verse. In continuation, Lord Shri Krishna says, Yaenam veti hantaram yaschenam manyate hatam. Yaenam veti hantaram yaschenam manyate hatam. Ubhav tav na vijani to nayam hanti na hanyate. Yaenam veti hantaram yaschenam manyate hatam. Ubhav tav na vijani to nayam hanti na hanyate. Yaenam veti hantaram yaschenam manyate hatam. Ubhav tav na vijani to nayam hanti na hanyate. So another very beautiful verse in continuation. Yah, anyone, enam, this, veti, knows, hantaram, the killer, yah, anyone, cha, also, enam, this, manyate, thinks, hantam, killed, ubhau, both of them, tau, they, na, never, vijanitaha, in knowledge, na, never, ayam, this, hanti, kills, na, nor, hanyate, be killed. He who thinks that the living entity is the slayer, he who thinks that the living entity is the slayer, yaenam veti hantaram, or that he is slain, he who thinks that a living entity is the slayer or that he is slain, yascha enam manyate hatam. Ya enam veti hantaram yascha enam manyate hatam. Ubhav tav na vijani to ubhav, both of them, does not understand. He who thinks that the living entity is the slayer or that he is slain does not understand. One who is in knowledge knows that the self slays not nor is slain. One who is in knowledge, na vijani to nayam hanti na hanyate. Ubhav tav na vijani to, they do not know in knowledge. So one who is in knowledge, those who are in knowledge, they knows very well that the self slays not, nor is slain. Nobody is able to kill. So wonderful. He who thinks that the living entity is the slayer or that he is slain does not understand. One who is in knowledge knows that the self slays not nor is slain. So wonderful. Another wonderful verse. In the purport, Swami Shrila Prabhupada writes, when an embodied living entity is hurt by fatal weapons, it is to be known that the living entity within the body is not killed. The spirit soul is so small that it is impossible to kill him by any material weapon, as is evident from the previous verses. Nor is the living entity killable, because of his spiritual constitution. What is killed or is supposed to be killed is the body only. This, however, does not at all encourage killing of the body. This, however, Swami Srila Prabhupada wonderfully, he explains, this, however, does not at all encourage killing of the body. The Vedic injunction is Ma himsayat. Don't do himsa. Ma himsayat sarvabhutani. Ma himsayat sarvabhutani. So that is the Vedic instruction. Never commit violence to anyone, nor does understanding that the living entity is not killed encourage animal slaughter. Killing the body of anyone without authority is abominable and is punishable by the law of states, by the law of state as well as by the law of the Lord. Killing the body of anyone without authority is abominable and is punishable by the law of state as well as by the law of the Lord. Arjuna, however, is being engaged in killing for the principle of religion and not whimsically. So, अंतवंति में देहा नित्यस्तोक्तः शरीरिणः अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्मात् युद्धस्य भारत. And in continuation, Lord Shri Krishna says, यायनं वेति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतं उभौ तौ न विजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते. So one who thinks. So actually, as Lord Shri Krishna described, the soul is actually indestructible, immeasurable, and the living entity is eternal. So if a person thinks that a living entity is the slayer or he is slain, then he does not understand. Na vijanito, he does not understand, he is not in knowledge. And one who is knowledge knows that the self slays not, nor is slain. The living entity cannot be slain, cannot be killed. And Swami Shrila Prabhupada so wonderfully, he starts the explanation. He says, when a living entity is killed by any weapon or weapons, it is to be understood that only the body is killed. Because the spirit soul is immeasurable, it is so small. It is to be known that the living entity within the body is not killed. The spirit soul is so small that it is impossible to kill him by any material weapon. Spirit soul is so small that it cannot be killed by any material weapon, and as is evident from the previous verses, nor is the living entity killable because of his spiritual constitution. Because of his spiritual constitution, as explained by Lord Shri Krishna in the previous verses. Natva evaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipaha na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayam atha param. Because of its spiritual constitution, living entity does not belong to this material world, only matter is changing, and as such the soul is unchangeable. What to speak of killing? And it is as we saw in the previous verse, the modern science, the present science describes that the sun rays, their electric and magnetic field, which are perpendicular to each other, the modern science, but the Vedic science explains that there are very small atoms, innumerable, effulgent atoms, photons, and the living entities are actually from the body of the Supreme Lord. There are, we saw, spirit whole are compared to the sunshine molecule. In the sunshine there are innumerable radiant molecules. Similarly, the fragmental parts of the Supreme Lords are atomic sparks of the rays of the Supreme Lord, called by the name Prabha. And they are part of the superior energy, the spiritual energy. And as such they are indestructible. Because they are spiritual in nature, they are not material. Only matter is changing. The spirit is not changing. Sat, Asat. Na sato vidyate abhavaha, na sato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha. So the living entity is Sat. It does not, the living entity is actually Sat. And there is no cessation, avyayasya, no cessation. Na bhavo vidyate sataha, so living entity is Sat, indestructible. And avyayasya, it cannot be in that way cease. So Lord Shri Krishna, he is describing that anyone who thinks that the living entity is slayer or that he is slain does not understand, because of his constitutional spiritual nature. The living entity is not killable. Nobody is able to kill it. So what is killed or is supposed to be killed is the body only. So what is killed or is supposed to be killed is the body only. But this does not, Swami Shrila Prabhupada wonderfully, he continues, this however does not at all encourage killing of the body. If one read these instructions, or if one understand from the Vedic literature that the living entity nobody is able to kill anybody, that means we have a liberty to kill any body, because ultimately the body is killed, the living being is not killed. So Swami Srila Prabhupada is clearing that thing, that this however does not at all encourage killing of the body. This does not at all encourage killing of the body, because the Vedic injunction is Ma himsayat sarvabhutani. Ma himsayat. One should not commit violence against anybody. One should treat everybody like his own self, like himself, as one wants others to treat him, he should actually treat others in the same way. All of us, we want that others should treat us lovingly. So in the same way, we should also actually love and respect every living entity, and nobody should be killed unnecessarily. Swami Srila Prabhupada says, not even an ant should be killed, because killing is a very big